You won't believe what Uber's CEO said about integrating stablecoins, and reports are coming out that Apple, Google, Airbnb, and much more want to integrate stablecoins and crypto. We are seeing a mass move towards adoption, and Gemini, the crypto exchange, wants to do an IPO. I'll give you the details. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome into the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. I'm your host, Tony Edward. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please leave a 5-star rating and review. Folks, I want to kick it off by talking about the price of Bitcoin because we're seeing Bitcoin's price as far as the daily RSI heading towards the oversold zone. It was in the overbought zone. That's why you're seeing this pullback despite the narratives that are out there. But based on the charts and technically, it was due for that pullback. So let's see what Bitcoin decides to do as far as finding the bottom. Maybe this coming week it finds the bottom and then we start to bounce upwards. But we do have to be patient. Overall, though, things are still on track. I wrote a newsletter on this today, so make sure you check out my newsletter. It's 100% free. But global M2, global liquidity continues to rise and Bitcoin is following it, and so are other risk assets. And Bitcoin whales continue to accumulate. So a lot of signals are showing the bull market is still in play and there hasn't been any invalidation. We just got to be patient. And like I said, check out the full details in my newsletter that I put out today. Now, folks, we have some of the most bullish news that I want to share with you. First up, Uber is in the study phase of using stablecoins to lower costs, says the CEO. Folks, Uber is a giant. I don't think I need to explain what Uber is to many of you. But the fact that they're looking to integrate stablecoins is amazing. As I've been saying, all paths lead to blockchain, crypto, stablecoins, and much more because this technology will be powering the economies, the markets, and governments, as I've been saying. And because we have a much more favorable environment for crypto, plus legislation is on the cusp of being passed by Congress, this is going to allow these big companies to now get involved, to build, to expand their services around this. So Uber CEO Dara K says the ride-sharing giant is looking at whether stablecoins can help it cut costs when moving money around the world. So this is just a great example of people who are not crypto native, who are recognizing the benefits of this technology. And that's why we're here. That's why we're investing, to be able to ride the wave of this adoption curve and make money as part of the process, right? Let's not be disrupted, but let's ride the wave, not only to invest, but if you're an entrepreneur, you can get involved. And if you want to find employment in industry, you can go work there, right? So these are some of the great benefits that are right before us, folks. And let me play the clip of what Uber's CEO had to say.
I understand that you are considering stablecoin as a vehicle for Uber. Talk about where your considerations are and how that might benefit your business.
Yeah, we're still in the study phase, I'd say, but I think stablecoin is one of the, for me, more interesting instantiations of crypto that has a practical benefit other than crypto as a store of value. You know, obviously, you can have your opinions on Bitcoin, but it's a proven commodity, and, you know, people have different opinions on where it's going. But I do think that stablecoin is quite promising, especially for global companies that are moving money around globally to create a mechanism for us to essentially reduce costs.
Amazing. There you heard it from the horse's mouth. This is just so bullish, folks. And this is why we have to be patient and have a macro view. They're not going to move at 100 miles per hour to do this. They're going to crawl, walk, run, and of course, go through their R&D process and make sure everything is copacetic from the legal standpoint. But the door is open here. We are seeing the paradigm shift taking place where all of these folks need to pay attention. And here's another great example. Fortune is reporting that Apple, X, and Airbnb among growing number of big tech firms exploring crypto adoption. Now, Fortune wants me to pay to read the full article. I'm not going to do that, but I'll give you what I can read here in the first paragraph. The crypto industry has long sought a killer app to bring blockchains into the financial mainstream, and in stablecoins, it may have found one. Banks and fintechs are rapidly adopting stablecoins, digital tokens pegged to the value of the US dollar, and now big tech firms are poised to do the same. According to sources familiar with the matter, Apple, X, Airbnb, and Google are all holding early conversations with crypto firms about integrating stablecoins. Now imagine you panic sold and left the market because of the tariff uncertainty, right? Imagine you're moving by your emotions and not paying attention to the physical adoption that's taking place here, and that we are riding that S-curve adoption, and it continues to grow with massive institutions getting involved. This is why you don't invest with your emotions. This is why you have to have the financial education to buy the dips, buy the blood on the street, right? The blood, fear, and depression, and sell the euphoria and greed. And also look at how you can take advantage of this technology in different ways, because all the big companies in the world are going to be participating in one way or the other. They're going to accept stablecoins, crypto. They might put Bitcoin on their balance sheet. They might put Ethereum or XRP on their balance sheet. There are different avenues in which they can do so. Even beyond stablecoins, they can put blockchain infrastructure to run their logistics, supply management, and much more. So which blockchains they choose, that's where we're going to have to watch closely and take our bets. That's why we're here, folks, to profit off the adoption of this technology, just like any other technology throughout the history of human civilization. Now, folks, quick word from our sponsor, and that is Trezor. Trezor makes beautiful hardware wallets that makes it easy for you to safely store your crypto. I'm a user of the product. I use the Trezor Safe 5 device. Folks, Trezor were the ones who pioneered the hardware device. They created it. They created the seed phrase setup, and their hardware wallets are open source. Folks, they support a variety of crypto tokens, from all your top tokens, Bitcoin, XRP, Solana, Ethereum, and much more, and even new tokens like BlackRock's BUIDL. They have a great software called Trezor Suite that helps you to manage all of this, and they even have a hand-holding service to help you get on board. So Trezor is doing a lot of great things, and folks, if you use the discount code Thinking Crypto, all one word, you can get a 5% discount on purchasing a device. So if you'd like to learn more, please visit the link in the description. Now, it seems like it's IPO season for many crypto firms. We've seen eToro go public just this week. Circle went public, and there's been a bunch of others as well, some wallets and things that have gone public. Well, now reports are coming out that Gemini, the crypto exchange founded by the Winklevoss twins, they have filed for an IPO with the SEC. Folks, this wouldn't be happening in a bear market. We are in a bull market. They recognize what's coming. Remember, these guys are not just waking up saying, oh, you know what? Let's do an IPO. No, they have tons of analysts and researchers looking into all of this, making sure they're doing it at the appropriate time and that they're positioning themselves to get the most gain, right? Just look at what happened with Circle's stock price yesterday as it went public on the New York Stock Exchange. So Gemini looking to be involved here, and you're going to see other companies, folks. There's going to be a good amount. It feels a lot like the 90s with the dot-com boom and a lot of companies going public. Now, of course, not everything will be a winner. This is a competition in the free market, so let's see who the winners are, but we want to take our bets accordingly. Sure, you can invest in the companies as far as stocks, but I'm primarily holding the tokens. As I stated just yesterday, I do plan to buy some Circle stock because I do believe that stablecoins are here to stay, but I'm waiting for the blood on the streets. I'm not buying into pumps. We've seen this with previous IPOs. The price comes out the gate storming, but then usually has to correct because that type of move is not sustainable. So very interesting news, and I'm so excited to see who else is going to be next. Now, we have some very interesting news coming from Greg Kidd. Many of you know Greg Kidd. He's been on my podcast many times. He's a former Ripple executive. He has his own hedge fund, Hard Yucca, that has been investing in different crypto platforms. And he's even been investing in tech for a long time. He helped seed Jack Dorsey with, if I'm not mistaken, for his Twitter, even Square. He's been invested in many things. And my recent interview with him from a few months back, he's invested in a bank, a vast bank that's going to provide crypto services. So here we have news that he's going to acquire controlling interest in No Labs and introduce a Bitcoin Treasury strategy. This is fascinating. I'm going to have him back on the podcast to talk about this. So Know Labs is a publicly traded company, and it's a technology innovator specializing in non-invasive health monitoring solutions. And today announced that it has entered into an agreement with GoldenEye 1995 LLC. Wow, what a name there. I got to ask Greg about this. An affiliate of fintech investor, entrepreneur, and former Ripple chief risk officer Greg Kidd to acquire a controlling interest in the company. And it says under the terms of agreement, the buyer will acquire that number of shares of the company's common stock obtained by dividing the sum of 1,000 Bitcoin and a cash sum to retire existing debt, redeem outstanding preferred equity, and provide additional working capital by the per share purchase price of 33 cents here. Wow, that's interesting. The Bitcoin will be employed by the company's treasury strategy, providing investors with significant economic exposure to this high attractive digital assets. Very interesting here, move by Greg Kidd. So like I said, I'm going to try to get him back on the podcast to talk about this, but we are continuing to see this trend of Bitcoin corporate treasury is booming. And of course, Michael Saylor is the one that started, but just this week we reported about Ethereum and XRP. So as I've been saying for a long time, starts with Bitcoin, it will then go to altcoins. So the assets, the altcoins that are most liquid, like your XRP, Ethereum, Solana, and so forth, are going to get this type of adoption. So really great stuff here. Now, final news item, Eric Trump comes out and says the following. I am proud to announce that Trump Memecoin has aligned with World Liberty Financial. Although their meme wallet isn't moving forward, they remain focused on building the most exciting meme on earth, Trump. Moreover, we're proud to announce that World Liberty Financial plans to acquire a substantial position in Trump for their long-term treasury. We share a bigger vision for crypto, patriotism, and long-term success. Stay tuned for more to come. Now, we heard this week that someone was launching a wallet. Eric and Don Jr. said, we're not associated with this. We don't have nothing to do with this meme coin. Now it's being, aligned with World Liberty Financial. So, man, I wish they would dump this meme coin and separate themselves from it. Because it's just so risky to many investors. Meme coins are highly volatile, highly speculative. They don't have any type of utility at all. It's just simply a speculative move. And I'm not saying they should be banned, but, I don't think any people in the government I've often stated Trump, should not have something like this. And it doesn't matter if it's Democrat, Republican, Independent, whatever. No president should be associated with things like this, but it looks like instead of distancing themselves from it, like they were trying to do earlier this week, now they're embracing it. So I totally disagree with this. I wish they wouldn't do this. World Liberty Financial, have at it. Launching your own Bitcoin ETF, I don't care, because that is stuff they don't control the assets directly, right? They can buy it and that helps the market. But when you have like 80% of the meme coin and all these things, I don't think it's a good idea, man. Plus, it steals liquidity from the crypto market. So I don't care if you're a supporter of Trump or you love Trump, you should not agree with this because, again, it steals liquidity from the market. It puts more risk in the market for a lot of investors. So I wish they would just avoid this stuff. But what are you going to do, right? It is what it is at this point. So this is why I often remind you guys, have a profit-taking plan because stuff like this, meme coins and so forth, they're going to lead to a blow-off top. And you know what comes after. Bloody bear market, right? So make sure you have your plan to take your profits and walk away from this bull market with money in your pockets. Now, folks, a great way you can support me in the podcast is by subscribing to my free email newsletter. It's 100% free. Check out the links in the description. Check out my book on Amazon. It's available in paperback and digital. And my course at mycryptocourse.com. This is a comprehensive course that teaches you every aspect of crypto. Knowledge is power. Expand your knowledge around this technology and what's happening. This course is packed with a lot of value, videos, text write-ups, downloadable materials, and much more. So if you'd like to learn more, go to mycryptocourse.com. Folks, thank you so much for watching and listening. I appreciate you all, and I'll talk to you all later.